guys, welcome to our board game night, and tonight we are playing Hyperborea. It's a game by Asmodee and Asturian, and those guys over there made it. Sorry, I can't pronounce that. Tonight we are playing with Ashen, and we've got Martin over there. This is his game, for reference sake, and Mick's here too. Alright, so Hyperborea is a dice bag building game. No, not dice.
It's not
just,
dice.
Yeah, it's just bag building.
It's a cube bag thing.
And what we're trying to do is gain victory points, which is that symbol right there, the little sort of star thing, which just goes little crystals. You have these little achievements over here. So this one was a 12 victory points. You get this one?
15.
15 victory points.
No, it's just 15 in a 2. It's 12 in a 4 or 3 or more.
Oh, there you go. That one is have all your dudes on the board, and that one is have 5 scientific breakthroughs.
Advanced technologies.
And
Not including a starting one.
yeah. So once you got 2 of those have been founded by one player, the game will end, and then you count up the victory points, and the person with the most wins. So I am playing the Golden Baronies, and I'm using this particular race ability, which is if I spend a victory point, I can do one of those actions, which is either fight, move, so focusing, little thing which moves your track up. And
good description. Press. Just show that board here. Right. Just I don't want to bog it down with too many details before he goes on this. But this here is a progress track. Each one of these represents the cubes as well. So this green one here is to do with movement, and there's a threshold on these 2. So if at some point in his turn Jason gets this past this threshold or this threshold, he can cash it in to reset to 0 and add a cube of that colour, or 2 cubes of that colour, back into his bag. So as I say, green is movement, red is combat, purple is growth, so which is to do with adding more people. Green I think is prosperity, which is to do with moving more of these up. Yellow is trade, so that gives you a lot of victory points, and blue is science, which is going to get you more cards. So that's what the progress track is. So as he was saying on his racial ability, he can cash in a victory point to move one thing up 3 spaces there, and the last one is draw 3 cubes, is it, from the bag?
Yep.
Yeah.
And obviously,
so he's got quite a versatile racial ability there.
and the cubes basically go into those spots to give you actions, and you have basically 6 actions, of which they have 2 sub-actions to each one.
Yeah.
And obviously the cubes go over there, and then on your turn you use them to fill up the actions. That's your victory points. This is your graveyard, or other people's graveyard, and we'll come back to that in a minute. And this is your waste pile. So basically on your turn you're going to draw some cubes out of your bag, and then do some actions. And this is the board over here. We each start in our own little capital city, and the cities themselves have little abilities. Like that one gives you a movement point and allows you to move up progress track 1 space. So I think that all of this will make more sense once we come to the gameplay turn. But essentially we all have little racial abilities. We're bringing out cubes to do actions, and we're trying to get as many victory points as we can, because once someone gets 2 of those, it's game over and I'm going to win.
There's a bit of an area control element in here as well. You can see on the back of these are obviously the reverse of the hexes here. So this is a central one. Obviously at some point this is going to get revealed. If at the end of the game someone controls that hex, it's worth 4 victory points. These outer ones are worth 2 victory points, and then home hexes are worth 1 victory point. There's a bit of an area control element to that as well. Technology cards, these are advanced technologies over here. These have all got victory point markers in the corners as well, so they're worth points. So there's lots of numerous ways to gain additional victory points.
Another note by the task, because they might not be when we come to the gameplay turn. And when we flip over these these non-reveal tiles, they'll have, like, what are they called, ghosts?
They're
or
ghosts,
something?
yeah, exactly that.
Little ghost figures. And
Tap screen will focus if it's not.
if we beat them up, we get victory points for them as well. But it's like, I can't remember, it's like 1 for 1.
1, 3, 6. So if you kill 1, it's worth 1 VP. If you kill 2, it's worth 3, 3, 6. And then after that, it's worth 1 extra for each one. So it's a potential strategy there is to go after NPCs. The other quite clever thing that I like about this as well is if you start your turn with less than 3 of your guys on the board, and up to 3 is like put on there, so you'll always have 3 guys, which is nice. It means if you take a pounding, you can actually recover quite quickly. When you kill other people's, one of them will sit on your board, and it's worth a victory point. Okay, so essentially you kind of lock it, if you like. Once you've got a set of them, you can then score additional victory points. So like that. So once we've killed one of each ones. However, any additional ones of purple that he'll kill aren't locked in place. They go back to Ash. So it's not like it's not like you can deny people of their figures as well. And there is obviously a small finite amount of them. So I quite like that as a balancing.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool as well. I just noticed that I said I'm playing the Golden Baronies, but I didn't say what the other guys were playing and what their special abilities. What are you playing, Ash?
I'm playing the Purple Matriarchy. I've decided to choose the starting ability that gives me advanced tech, and that is Outposts, which basically gives me cloning, which allows me to place another of my figures and advance on the...
So you're going to spread like rabbits all
the
over the board.
important thing about cloning is, as opposed to just generating additional people, is when you normally generate new people, they go in your home hex, whereas with cloning, they can go in any hex that you occupy, so he can bring out more troops further into the battlefield, which is quite useful.
Also, for interest sake, you're allowed to move some of them up before the game starts, so that's what Ash has moved up. He's got his science, and the purple and orange ones up moved a bit more. And what was the extra cube you took?
I took a blue one, so because science cube, because technology is always good.
We'll start with one of each colour in our bag, and then you can choose one other. I chose an orange one to go into my bag, and that's what my starting positions look like. This is Mix.
I'm playing Celestial Rain, and we're more sort of technology science based. And I've got diplomacy for putting a blue cube on here. I'm able to draw another 3 cubes out of my bag, which is really useful. Anyone next to me can draw out 1 dice at the same time, so people will probably come over to me quickly. And I'm allowed to move my blue up on the...
We're all going to go hug Mick and be friends with him.
Just to point out that as well, that's if figures are adjacent to some of his figures as well. It's nothing to do with the real world position. Like me and Jason are going to benefit from that, and Ash doesn't.
That's fine, I'll just go and hug him.
And I'm the Coral Throne. So there's my starting position. I took a green cube, actually, an exploration cube. And the reason being, my rationale behind that was, if you show my starting hex over here, this is quite valuable, but mountains are quite hard to get into. So my thought was, if I add some exploration cubes, I might be able to get in there quite quickly and benefit from that. I also seem to be quite efficient in getting rid of the grey waste cubes, which come from tech cards. So I don't think it was pointed out, but there's 2 racial abilities for each race, and you choose one of those to use. So the one I've got here is I may use grey cubes in place of orange cubes for any orange activations. Whether that's good or not, I don't know. We'll see.
I also add an extra blue cube.
So blue cube as well. Okay, cool. So we'll play a few turns, and then we'll come back at the gameplay turn and show you how we're doing. Okay, so we're back for the game turn. This is the state of the game so far. So we've moved out, and you can see we've left some ghost figures on for you guys to see.
Yeah, that was intentional.
Yeah.
It's quite a passive game, I think. There's not been a lot of combat.
Apart from Mick, who's declared war as the warmonger that he is.
Yeah, so I've killed a ghost, and Mick's killed one of my figures because he went wandering out over there, and Mick just took that as an offence.
Very nomadic. Well, basically, Mick's got a couple of texts down here which benefit the neighbours. So, me and Jason, like moth to a flame, ran at Mick. It was like, yeah, we'll benefit from that, no problem. And obviously, Mick then murdered one of Jason's.
Unbelievable. Ashton's also got quite a few techs because he's got a tech that gives him more tech.
Just to point out down here as well, he started with outposts, so that doesn't count towards this
victory point goal.
So he's got 4 at the moment, and yeah, same with Mick, so he's got 2.
So I'm actually behind in
so this is going to be Mick's turn to start with, and so he can go through his turn what he's going to do.
Okay. At the end of last turn, I drew these 3 cubes. So, well, my first move will be I'm going to take my figure, lock it into the village, is it? City, yep. And gain what it can give me there. So it allows me to take a cube out of my bag.
It's like card draw.
Yeah.
To lock them into cities and ruins and things doesn't actually require any movement points.
Yep. Also allows me to move 2 along 1 progress track, which is that one I'm going to do. So I can now also do a... I was going to actually gain the technology, but I can actually... If
thought you took yourself out of that as well. Because you wanted the progress.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm going to think of doing now. I'm going to do yellow and any colour to gain a victory point. So that allows me to progress one.
He's got a recursive ability here, which he's using his waste as well, which essentially says every time he gains a victory point, gain one on the progress track. There's your VP.
Yep. So
Mick's got 7 victory points.
So because now I've reached this part where it triggers it, the white line triggers it.
You don't have to.
I don't have to cash it in, but I want to cash it in. So I'm.
One of the things you got to think about, you're not allowed to look in your bag, but you can feel, and like Mick's can feel, and like he's got maybe 2 or 3 bricks left. Yeah. So he might, or cubes. You might want to cash that in so you can draw again.
So I can have 2 red.
The thing you want to try and do with this game is try to end with either no cubes or 3 or more cubes in there, because you always draw up to 3 out of your bag. So if you have 1 or 2 in there, you basically have a much weaker turn next turn, which is rubbish.
And I'm putting the remaining 2 on here, which then allows 2 more progressions along this chart. And I'm thinking I will probably go with that one. Okay. And
so he's out of actions and
that's
any movement left.
Yeah. I've got no movement left. So now I will then. I've ended that. So now I draw 3 more cubes. I've still got some left in my bag, so that does not.
I like the fact that you draw your cubes at the end of your turn, so you can think about your turn beforehand.
I mean,
Ashen.
Sit there in despair about how crap your turn's going to be.
Some things will change, obviously, like text and things like that. But generally speaking, it means you've got a good idea of what you're going to do with your turn. So, I've been thinking about mine. Okay, so I'm in a mountain here. It costs an extra movement point to enter or leave a mountain. And this is a forest. It costs an extra movement point, to enter it, which really sucks. But I've got a little tile here that I kept, which has got 3 movement points. So this guy is going to actually move
lucky
into there. Yeah, that was all right. I don't know if it's going to be much use because I can't fight him at the moment. But
Martin's killed a ghost already.
I have.
Yeah. And point out, you don't have to fight these, and they don't fight
I missed
you.
this. This is like a defensive marker, but only lasts for 1 turn, so that gets moved at the beginning of your turn. So I'm going to move him onto there to explore this ruin, and I get this, and I get the option of. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I'm definitely going to use that now. So I can keep that and use it for a later date.
Oh, I had one of those.
I think it's quite good, so I get to draw a cube.
More cubes is obviously more versatility in your actions, except when you draw a grey.
No, that's all right. Then
orange for him.
I can do stuff with that. Yeah, so my ability, I can use them on the orange spaces, but I've also got a code of laws down here, which is not shabby either. Right, where the hell was I? Okay, I'm also going to lock this guy onto this one here. Let's have a look at this. Oh, I didn't actually do my 2 progress either. I think I'll forge ahead with the red one. And then I don't see any reason why I wouldn't use that. And I think in this instance,
it's another 3 progress.
I'm going to go for.
But that's with one, only along one chart.
Yep.
Both of them are only along one chart. Here you would go 1 each on 2.
Okay.
2 areas.
And just to relate as well, Martin's got 5 victory points in gems.
I do. This is true. This is true.
So Mick had 7.
I think I gave
5.
him half of them.
Yeah.
I'm going to lock him in
We
there.
love Mick.
to get 2 progress.
Another 2, Jesus.
So he's going to go up there. Yeah, why not?
You had like 5. You moved like 7 spaces.
I know, considering I've barely moved this the whole game, and now finally I'm doing something. I may as well use this now. So I've hit the 2 threshold, so I put 2 red cubes in.
Obviously, nice to put it in before you draw.
I've got several in there anyway, so I think what I need to do, I might as well use this. So this is going to give me a movement point and a progress. This, by the way, is locking all these people into these regions, so I can't actually move them or use them again until I reset, which is obviously a bit sucky. So he's going to move up into there.
It's kind of like worker placement, isn't it?
I guess, yeah. Although someone else can move in and kill you.
Worker assassination.
Back in that place.
As you found out.
Yeah. That. Right, I think what I'm going to do here is blue, a yellow, and a purple over here. So I'm going to go victory point and a technology. Now, when you get technology, you can choose. They're not kind of ranked in power. They're kind of ranked by colour. So you can see on the back of this one. It'd be nice if they had names, but they don't. I guess they've tried to keep it language independent. But these ones, and by the way, this game's not for colourblind people at all.
Yeah, I can't. I'm looking through this camera and I can't see what colours those are.
These are green and red. So these are going to be like movement ones and combat ones. These are purple and yellow. So these are going to be like growth ones and trade ones. So victory points and getting more troops. These are orange and blue, so science and predominantly this is anyway, they're not only that, but science and like progress things, which is moving up on your track in the middle. And these ones are kind of ones that utilise grey cubes and wild cubes. Okay, so the first thing I can do, if I wish, I can choose one of these four and recycle the cards around so they go back underneath and draw 2 new ones. So I think I'm going to. Oh, I do quite like that. I think I'm going to get rid of these. Oh, should I do the orange? I'll do the orange ones. So they go under. I'll tell you what, that's pretty sexy. Right, and now I can get one of these cards. Okay, I'm not locked into buying one of these. I can get any 8. We won't
Any of the 8?
Any of the 8, yeah. Man, that is sexy. Right, so this one here, at the start of every turn, you'll draw an extra cube, which is really good. But it costs 2 blue to kind of keep active. And this one's a blue and an orange, or a blue and a grey for me, potentially, to use any other. I'm definitely taking that one. Told myself into it, that's it.
Just to say about these ones, with the infinity symbol, you can, instead of when you reset, taking all your cubes into the bag, you can actually leave them on there all the time. So these two will stay there
permanently. They're permanent usage, essentially, which pains me to my very soul as I've just seen the next one. And I could have left a grey cube on there to have me progress every turn. Right, the grey cube that came with that technology goes in my waste pile, and then I've got a grey cube left to use. You can part pay for things.
And lock it into Code of Laws.
And lock it in. Well, I don't know, because I've got spying now as well, which I could do.
Oh yes, because your greys are orange.
Code of Laws, which is good. Or any of these as well. So, in essence, I've got no frigging idea now. I think I'm going to put it on spying, because there's lots around that I like. Okay, I've got nothing else to do there. I've done all my actions there, so the last thing I do on my turn is draw 3 new cubes. We'll see what colours they are. I'm expecting some red. Hopefully not.
There's some red.
And another bloody grey.
That's orange.
Well, yes. Okay, that's me. Anyway. So, Ash, over to you.
My turn. Last turn I drew 2 blues and a purple, and I've had a couple of horrible draws and gone with quite a lot of grey, which I couldn't use.
His problem was he hasn't got anything that he could use it with.
Until recently.
He's got this one here now, mining.
Which will be quite nice, hopefully.
Unfortunately, he needs to get those grey cubes in his bag now.
Yeah. Which, well, it will be happening because I have no, what you call it, cubes in my bag. So basically, what I'm going to do this turn is I am going to look at things that I can partially pay. I'm going to put 1 on there, which allows me to spawn 2 in my home spot.
So is that everyone around you gets one?
So
yellow and orange.
Yellow and orange each get a minion.
So he's here, as you can see there.
You get a minion.
He activated. I'll just show you. I'll get this card over here. Yeah. So he activated peace treaties here. So you can see that.
It's cloning. So
so what that does is there for 1 purple cube he gets 2 people and everyone around him gets a person. So
the cloning ability.
No, the cloning is plus, so it'll go in your home turf. So he's there. You can see Jason's next to him there. I'm next to him there. So me and Jason will both get another dude in our home city. Wicked. I'm not unhappy about that.
You're welcome,
You
guys.
two have benefited so much from it.
Yes, they have.
Yeah, and we've been really greedy and bought nothing that benefits you
No.
guys.
And Mick has been horrible and not helped me out in the slightest. So
They're very far away.
then I am going to just lock that one into there, and that one into there, because when I reset, I can leave those there because they're not completed.
Exactly
So
right.
now, because I can't draw anything, I have to reset. So they're going to pop out of their locations. All the completed things get cleared off, and as does my waste.
Right, that's all mandatory. Those two that he's got there, he could, if he wanted to, reset those as well. But as he's just said, he's going to leave those there.
I'm going to give my bag a nice shake.
There it is, a purple sack bouncing up and down for you.
And then I will draw my 3. And now I'm not too fussed if I draw some grey, which, guess what?
3 greys.
I said some.
Look at that face.
Some.
This pleases us immensely. Right, sorry, Jason, you're up.
It does indeed.
I like it.
Right, oh, man, I've got such. Do I spend the green there to get another cube out of my bag? But that'll leave me with 2, so it means I could spend that to get the 3rd one in there. It gives me another movement point. Or do I spend it there and get some of these guys at the back here moving
Do you
up?
want the movement point?
You know what? I think I'm going to spend 2 there.
How many green have you got in your bag? I'd have been tempted, if you got more, I'd have done that one. You might have got a green out of your bag and then you could have done both.
That's true, but no, I'm going to go with this. I'm playing safe. I'm going to move him in there.
What is that, a mountain?
Yeah.
Yeah, have you got you
I'm
got 2?
still
Yeah.
2,
Okay,
yeah.
that's fine, yeah. Yeah, you need to be neighbours with Mick again, of course.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I thought I wanted to move up to there again. And then I'm going to spend a red and any colour.
The leeches. Both
Yeah.
leeches.
To slice up this ghost.
Okay.
Go into my graveyard. And then I'm going to move this guy into that ruins to search that.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll get a green cube.
Okay, here's all the pile of stuff. So I get him a green. There you go.
Just go straight in his bag.
I think that one might have been a mistake, actually.
Well, you could have kept it in.
Yeah, and use the next turn.
Yeah, because now you've got 4 in there. Did you say?
Yeah. You know what? No, that was annoying. Okay, I think that's me done.
Draw
Okay,
up.
so you draw 3. And that's a turn. So, to clarify, none of us have got one of these yet. Mick's moderately close with VPs. I'm not doing too bad with VPs either. Ashley's extremely close with tech.
But has only 1 VP and has really bad draws on drawing.
And I
great
think
cubes.
I've only got 3 guys left. Ashley's only got 3 guys. In fact,
4 guys.
Is it 4, is it? Okay. Jason's only got 3 guys left. So we're all getting close. Mick has basically decided not to bring any guys out by the looks of it. So that's it.
You got 2 guys out.
So we'll see you
At the
at the end.
Okay, so this is the final section of the... Well, we finished the game, and we have a winner. And the winner... Well, let's go with last place. Last place is Ash with, what was it, 33 points?
33 points.
Okay. And then I came 3rd with 40 points. And Mick was
43.
2nd with 43. And Martin won with 46.
Very close as well.
Yeah.
46.
6
And
points in
Martin
the 3 of
called it
us.
to end the game, so
Yeah.
it might have felt more confident about the gap than that.
I've got to admit, I felt like I was in a strong position, but I didn't know 100% sure that I was in the lead. And part of me couldn't be bothered to kind of sit and work it out. But clearly, it turns out that, yeah, it was absolutely the right thing to do.
And warning to anyone else, it's not victory points by just having people on these. You have to have superiority.
Yeah, relative majority, I think it says in the in the manual. So, as an example, if that was more like that, there's 2 orange versus 1 blue, 1 grey, so orange would have had that. But unfortunately, as it was, there were 2 ghosts in there, which I was desperate to kill, and I couldn't actually gain any swords. So,
You can see that was the final board looked like. And achievements-wise, or main goals-wise, Mick has got the 12 victory points one, which he got on the last turn. Martin got the 12 victory points and all his people on the board.
I was only 1. Well, I could have gained either of these 2 on the last turn, but I opted for the man.
So many options for you on that last turn. Ash has got the... What is that, Ash? Is that
the 5 techs.
5 techs. I didn't have any of the achievements. I was 1 guy short of getting all my people on the board. I had 4 techs, so I was 1 tech short. and I only had 5 victory points. So
The irony was as well, on his last turn, Jason actually had the cubes to do this one, which is have a movement point and put your guy on.
Yeah.
But for some bizarre reason, he must have had a brain fart. He locked into that one, which means he was then committed to doing that one rather than he couldn't do the other one.
gutted.
I mean, that cost you a lot of points. In fact, how many points were between you and Mick?
3.
And so you'd have got your extra dude, so you'd have been 1 point behind.
Yeah.
Remember, 4 of them are from me.
Well, yeah, I'd like to say
Well,
that...
the other thing as well, Jason, how many did you spend in your ability?
4 victory points.
Which is the 4 that I gave them. So,
Yeah, but also, as I was saying, you spent 4, but how much?
Yeah, it
did give
perpetuated
you?
a lot more
Yeah.
stuff that I did.
I didn't get to benefit from anybody's ability. These 2 leeches, Martin and Jason,
You got- I think me and you both, although I managed to somehow squeeze through into mix area for a bit, but we were hemmed in by these terrain.
Yeah.
I mean, it
Yeah,
cost me.
this desert up here is.
Yeah, it was a nice little
friendly.
path. Which I actually like that the terrain played an effect on the game. I thought it was really relevant to how
really
your
annoying
strategy
that
worked.
the person who had all the, come close to me was the furthest away from
other
me.
side of the world.
the other thing is people need to be careful of these ones where you benefit but give people other things. Because now I'm working it out. I gave Martin 4 victory points. Not to say he wouldn't have won, but
He wouldn't have won.
If I had 4 points less, I wouldn't have won. But that was getting you 2 every
so
turn
yeah,
as well.
so it might have been but it might have
if
been
you'd
another
gone
card not like
if you'd
that.
have had that one yellow one, which just gain a victory point there, and done that 4 times
Yeah.
instead,
That's what I mean. I could have gone
Then
up here and kept on doing
me and
that
Jason would
instead.
have had 3 or 4 points less, and
Yeah,
then maybe
so-
you'd have been in a better
Or
position.
be wary about these ones that offer other people, because I mean Ash also with his cloning, giving Martin, I think he gave Martin 2 figures, and
Yeah.
that helped him trigger off this as well.
Definitely.
Yeah.
So,
I
and
then
he
did
got
try and
Jason
balance
close.
things out with knowledge stealing by trying to reduce
That
that.
was
And then
the last
immediately
turn.
gave everyone a
Yeah, back again. Yeah.
Well, it basically kept them neutral. So
In fact, you had loads of things. You told us all about leeching. Look at this. He had 3 techs here, which give other people stuff anymore.
it's because they were the best ones
So
that
people
come out
need
at the
to,
point.
when they're doing the tech, they definitely need to be careful of the ones that give other people stuff. Still good. I mean, 2 victory points each time with a yellow cube. Can't be
Well,
knocked.
the thing about them
But-
is they're cheap and give you a really
Yeah.
good benefit.
And it gave me 2 victory points.
well,
at the
yeah,
end
I
as
mean, that's
well.
really good. But obviously, the downside is people around you benefit.
Yeah. And also it attracts people to you. So also more likely, especially if the I think the red race, I don't know what they're called, but
Let's
it's
call
a
them
combat
chaos.
combat heavy race was next to you. I mean, you're actually inviting them to come at you and then attack you.
The red duchy, for
Red
information.
Dutch. So just be wary.
Yeah, that was interesting. I think it was a really interesting game. I mean, there's a lot of things to think about on your turn.
Really liked it. And this was almost as good as that mechanism with Shogun, similar situation.
The cube tower, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, also be wary. If the more cubes you get, it's going to be longer before you get to reset. So you have to be careful about what choices.
That was
you
one of the
make.
things I was gutted about that last turn when Martin ended the round. I had 1 turn left, and the only actions I had was there, which was already locked in 1, and then I could move up 1 on my each. It was so freaking annoying. There's like no more cubes left in my bag either.
And I had the same thing. I could have reset next go.
I copied Mick's. I've got spying, which means I can use other people's advanced tech. I copied his diplomacy to draw 3 cubes and give everyone, because I was adjacent to everybody, give everyone else a free cube draw. Nobody had cubes in their bag. So
Well, Martin, this is your game. Let's start with you. What did you think of it?
I think
Or
it's
what do
excellent.
you think
I've
of it?
played it 3 times now. I've won all 3 games as well. Holy crap!
No, you didn't win the last one. Tony won the
Oh,
last one.
you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
I won the
Tony
first
won
2.
again?
Yeah, Tony won a game.
First on this one.
Yeah, I feel like this
I take it
gaming
back.
session,
That
I'm
one should have been
taking
filmed.
mixed position in that this is the 3rd game we've played and the 3rd game I have lost.
You're doing well, man. You're doing well. But I think it's
You're
excellent.
welcome
really good.
to my position. I'm happy for you.
I think there are elements of things like Eclipse, elements of Terra Mystica, things like that, a bit of deterministic combat, which is nice. The randomness comes from the cubes that you draw pretty much solely. I think it is solely, other than a couple of little tokens. And that's mitigatable by obviously what you put in your bag. And so it's just the right amount of random for me. Yeah, I think it's excellent. No, actually, it should have been 1 more. There's 3 tokens in each of those. isn't there?
What about you, Ash? This is your first game.
My first game. It was really hard to get my head around to try to work out what I'm doing and everything. It's now that I know what I'm doing and how I'm trying to build this, I think I'd play a lot better. I didn't mind it. I thought it was quite good.
Do you think...
Yeah, Dee said that the first time he played it as well.
What's that?
That now that he's played it, he understands the game better now and would play it differently next time.
I was going to ask Ash, and bearing in mind that you didn't kill any, do you think you chose the right ability?
No, because I barely used it.
Okay, but then the other one was when you kill ghosts, you can put one of your guys
I
out
think
instead.
it would off steered me better.
Okay.
Whereas this was, I can put someone out there, but
Did nothing with them.
yeah, this was more for every so often because you'd be locking cubes into it. So it gave me another action, but
I think,
whereas the other one was a
I
straight
think
out.
my ability was really good, actually. Better than I was expecting it to be. The fact that you could use grey cubes as orange, and there's actually I had quite a few, like 5 orange spaces around, which I could use grey cubes in. And it came up several times.
It was difficult for us to stop them getting technology like that as well, because you can discard them, but there's so many with orange cubes. It's hard to
Well,
stop.
I made a beeline for these end 4 ones here anyway, intentionally, because these ones do deal with grey and these ones deal with orange. So
I definitely think I messed up. I got screwed over twice by one pulling 3 grey cubes for a turn and then the other turn.
yeah, we filmed that.
2.
Remember?
A couple of turns before then, I only had 2 grey cubes, and guess what? I pulled both of those out in one turn. So yeah, and I think I would have been better off rather than buying some of these other techs, trying to get the grey usage ones. To try.
I think there's possibly some kind of strategy in, instead of going tech really, really quickly, which you did, drip feed it so you've got ways to kind of mitigate the grey cubes as they come out.
Yeah.
Rather than, because you got an injection of grey cubes really, really quickly, and then you had nothing to do with them, and that was clagging your turn up. Maybe, I don't know. I'm no expert.
No, I agree wholeheartedly with that. I think once I got the mining, I was like, 2 cubes. No.
And then just getting those 2 grey cubes. Yeah.
It was interesting from my perspective. When we played this a couple of weeks ago, I was thinking, man, just like any card drawing in normal deck building games, getting more is better. So I went for lots of things. Like I got this technology, which was draw a cube and move. That one was draw a cube. This one was draw 3 cubes. I used on my ability. And me and Mick were fighting for that space over there.
Yeah, this one.
Yeah, which was draw a cube and move 2. And I was really aggressive for those type of things, which I think is really cool.
Just looking at this, you see Ashton flipped over the tiles. That one.
No!
And you went after me instead, that teacher.
This obviously is, he gets a person on the board, which would have put his last person on.
Yeah.
So he got this. That's quite amusing.
Damn you! No, but I really like this game. I think it's really good. So many cool mechanisms in here that I think it really plays well. I think the idea of how we search each other out, not just to fight, but to use each other's abilities and gain things, and also this where you only can kill one of each person to gain benefits.
Yeah.
That also helps with that sort of mentality of not just going to go run in there and smash you up.
And it does stop someone getting completely smashed in and suck all the fun out of their
Yeah.
game.
I think that's really clever. I love the bag building idea. I think that's really cool as well. And anything with technologies always gets me going with area control. So
The annoying thing about the bag building thing, it's so obvious as well.
yeah.
It's just such an obvious idea, yet no one's come up with it before. Or not that I know of.
Well, quite a few games this year have
There
come
are
out.
few. I think Village has got an equivalent of bag building. You've kind of built into
Sort
the
of. You put your...
communal bag sort of thing.
Yeah.
But
What about you, Mick? What did you think?
Absolutely loved it. I like the fact of these, which is a bit like when you get with Civilization with villages and that. It's a nice reward. You've got to do something to get it. You've got to beat a ghost. It's not just straightforward giving you.
I'm the fact that you guys started off with these ones that gave you these tokens. I
just found a grey cube in my points.
I think
by the
I
way,
would
so
have-
I actually had 45.
45.
I think my abilities would have worked out better if these two had been here rather than those. But I also felt I
it's got
suffered
that
from
from
the
the
Terra
camera.
Mystica issue in this game, in that I think people are going to be working near me. No. Damn you.
The other thing is the
Sorry,
fact
Mick.
that when a turn ends, it finishes that everyone gets their go. If it, I like the fact that someone can cause the end of the game, but still everyone else gets to
one
so
final
what happened
last
was
turn.
I got my second tile, which started the end round, and it meant that the 3 remaining players got to do another turn as well.
I mean, it did us no good, me and Jason, but at least we had the option.
At least we can kick us while we
Pretend that
don't.
yeah, so but
I would rather
yeah.
that though than like a turn limit.
Yeah,
because
definitely.
I'm saying yesterday actually that the one negative thing I have about Eclipse is that last turn we had a small battery issue.
Technical difficulties.
As I was saying, and ironically, it's nothing about Hyperborea either. The one small negative I have about Eclipse is that because there's a defined turn limit, that last turn you kind of go off strategy with what you've been playing the rest of the game, just to try and maximise as many points as you can.
Mad dash.
Yeah, exactly that. Whereas I think this is mitigated slightly because the turn end just comes out of nowhere really, and well, I mean, you really couldn't do a lot, could you?
No,
What?
thumb up my ass.
Yeah,
You're basically stuck with the cubes you're given. So
yeah.
Well, let's do a quick verdict before we run out. Mick, thumbs up.
thumbs up, double. Thumbs
Martin,
up.
Yeah, I'm gonna double thumbs it as well, defo.
Ash.
For first playthrough, for not knowing what I was doing, yeah, I liked it. It's I said now that I understand the mechanics of everything, yeah, definitely. I think
I thought you did well, other than, and I told you not to neglect movement.
well,
And then it's fine. I can't move anywhere. I've got nowhere to move.
well, that's the thing. I didn't realise how important certain things. And until you played it, you don't know.
Absolutely, yeah.
And I'm not sure if anyone actually took any movement technology.
I did.
He took
Wagons.
But
One
yeah,
green,
I'll,
2 move.
definitely give it 1.5 thumbs up. Not quite ready for 2 thumbs up yet, but getting there.
I give it definitely 2 thumbs up. I think it was awesome. Really good game. Loads of really cool shit about it. Really good
I'm
components.
very excited about potential
Expansions
for it and what they're going to do. Are they going to add new races or
New achievement tiles.
I think the achievement tiles are almost a must. I think just to mix it up, because those 3 are fine, but having something else there to sort of just mix up the setup of the game and things like that will really help it a lot. Give it lots of
I
legs.
think the minis are definitely really good quality. I love
Excellent. The components are really good, considering a predominant amount of it is cubes and bags.
Yeah.
Other than that, minis are awesome. Everyone's got their own
and
sculpt.
the VPs
This is also
are lovely.
one of my favourite covers for a board as well. I don't know what it is about this freaking cover, but I just really like it. Kind of reminds me of
Because
Warhammer
he's coming to
Fantasy.
kick your ass. Seriously.
I
You
think
don't
this
want
would
to
definitely jump into my top 10 almost straight away.
Really?
I don't know if it'd go in top 5, but it would definitely be in the top 10, I reckon.
Wow, that's impressive.
He's only played 7 games. Though.
I don't think I wouldn't be able to put
he's
it in top
ignored
10
all those
yet.
that I've
It's
lost.
too early. I've only played it once, as I said. Can't make that sort of judgment on one game.
The reason I feel I can is just I like all the aspects to it, like the bag drawing. It's so many
I
different
thought,
things.
in fact, we thought it was going to be a game you would like because
Yeah.
it ticks
Yeah.
a lot of your boxes.
Yeah, and shows.
I agree with Mick. I think it ticks a lot of my boxes as well. Area control, the dice bag thing, technologies,
Cube bag cubes.
cube bag for it. It's just it's a really well played. I think a really well made
like,
game.
Powers, like individual powers.
Yeah.
So
Although, actually,
asymmetric setup.
Now that you mention that, that's probably the one letdown I think is that I tend to feel that some of the races that I've seen, some of the powers are easily better than others.
Do you think someone in that one was then?
Well, my one was either start off with 2 victory points or have all those abilities for sacrificing a victory point, which I think is much better. And the last time I played the red guys, where I thought the one power was much better than the other one as well.
I agree.
And they'll have to be careful with expansions as well, I think, because with Fantasy we've played, or most of us have played with tabletop. New races tend to be overloaded. They just make sure that they're new, if they have any new
Can I
races.
just
they're balanced.
just get some clarification on what you're saying there? Are you saying that the 2 powers that a race has, one is definitely better than the other?
Yes.
Or are you saying that some races have a power that's definitely better
No,
than other races?
out of the 2 powers that you have a
Right.
choice of,
Yes.
one is better than
Well,
the other.
You sort of look at one and think, why would I ever choose? Like, the green race is a good example, these guys. One is like a 1 movement point, a turn or a reset or something like that. I think it might be a reset, I can't remember. And the other one is flying, where they ignore wind.
Super
or whatever.
good.
They ignore all movement penalties.
Yeah.
I mean, you would never not
It's so
do that.
good. Why would you not pick that?
Exactly, yeah.
So I understand that, yeah. Which is why I said maybe playing with both wouldn't be that bad. It could give opportunity for the other one to be used. I don't know.
I think it's got to be worth an experiment doing it, just to see. I mean, I think
See
it'd be a
what
great
big
game,
difference
yeah.
it makes. Yeah.
And maybe expanding the map a bit as well. I would like a bigger map.
Yeah, I'd like a bit of exploration in there too, because it is literally once everyone's moved to the edge of their home hexes, there's only the centre hex. It's not turned over.
Yeah, in fact, I didn't flip any over. You guys, both of you guys had flipped my two adjacent hexes over, and I was like, oh, okay.
No, that is it. It's just that's the exploration for it.
And because this is not an uber aggressive game, I don't see why the map can't be a bit bigger.
Yeah.
It's not like, we're running at each other's throats. You can just expand a bit more and...
It's not Nexus
Go hunt.
or, Conquest from Narath.
Yeah, so you don't have to get into each other's throats
Especially
quickly.
when there's no time limit as well. So it's not like, you need to do things quickly because the game's going to be over quickly in 7 turns or 6 turns.
Well,
you've got time to expand.
maybe they'll do something like that in an expansion. Who knows?
But, as Mick was saying, you've got to be careful with expansions and adding new races. Because you don't want to end up with what Blood Bowl ended up doing.
Yeah,
where you add the new races and all of a sudden they are so much better than the vanilla ones.
I don't think that'll happen. It's going to be one of those Fantasy Flight games. I'm not surprised that they've done that, but I think this the same with like Eclipse and things like that, and Terra Mystica, another one. I don't feel that the races seem hugely better, if at all better.
They just suit certain people better.
Yeah.
But
And they've got slightly more colourful abilities, maybe, but they're not necessarily better.
I have no problems with suiting other people better. That's fine.
Same, yeah. Badger's going to die again, so let's wrap it up there. This is definitely a plus for us.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Look
watching.
forward to playing it again.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Cheers, and see you guys later.
Bye.